Wow, they love you. Can you see that? Eva, they love you. Keep it going, keep it going. Come down here. Okay, Rich, this is for you. And this is for you, Eva.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. What happened there, eh?
I feel like I'm going to cry. I didn't expect that many to come and really make me feel really nice. Thank you.
Well, we just started making some videos and it got out of hand pretty quick. And we were stunned that so many people had turned out to see us. Just a couple of idiots with a camera, like, you know? Yeah, don't know what to tell you.
Well, we thought we're going to tell you how it all started. So me and Rich met on Tinder in January. So we met in January. Hello, Phil. I was waiting for that man. So we met in January. I actually went to the different locations. So since then, I haven't been in charge of the navigation because I always get it wrong. And very early on, Rich just said to me that the motorcycles are really important in his life, and it would be good if I can go on the back and actually join him on the trips. So I just did that, and about 4 rides in, I booked my own CBT direct access. And 6 months later, we rode together to Stelvio.
So I had the initial trip booked to Stelvio on my own, and I was a bit worried that, you know, Eva, having not even done a CBT, 4 weeks later after doing a test, was going to do all of these passes we all heard about. And she did. She followed me the whole way, and I don't think you had a single incident.
No, I did it on the Tiger 800 XRT. It was a great bike. I could flat foot on both sides. I have not dropped it, to my surprise. So it was a great trip, and since then we just haven't stopped traveling. And every time we were telling our friends and family about the trips we do, they were so impressed, and we couldn't understand why. And then we thought we could just start putting it on YouTube and see how it goes. And there was a very positive response, and we've been putting the videos for about just over 2 years now, I think. Yeah, so it's gone pretty good.
It's turned out to be something that is very addictive. Once you start a video and people comment, oh, I enjoyed that, and then you can make another video. And I have Eva to remind me about all the tech stuff, luckily. But yeah, it just got out of hand so quickly, and then we want to go on another trip, and people are saying, wow, that's so impressive. You rode 2,000 miles down around the mountains and things. I couldn't do that. But the reality is, all of you can do what we do. We are not special in any way. You don't need to think about that you are doing 2,000 miles in a trip, because you're not today. Today you're only doing 100 miles or 50 miles, whatever it is that you like to do. But over the whole period, you will cover that distance, and it's no big thing in the end. You do it every day. Every time you go out for a ride on the weekend, you do 50, 100 miles. Just keep doing it.
We always say that we have no plan when we travel, and that's true, but we always do research the area a little bit. And we create Google Maps saved points, and then if we collect enough points, let's say in Italy, then we think, okay, if we're going to be in an area, we should swing by, cover those points, and just visit what we wanted to see. And that's just what we do. And also, having no plan when we travel, we can change our minds if the weather is not good or if something goes wrong. We do not pre-book any hotels, and I know a lot of you do the same way as well, because it's just a better adventure if you don't plan everything forward.
We learnt this the hard way. The first trip that we did organised together, I booked hotels, and we did Sicily. Some of you guys might have seen our first videos we did on YouTube.
Please watch them, they're shocking.
Absolutely terrible. But again, you know, it goes to show that you just have to start somewhere. Just pick up a camera, press record, you know, that's what happens. We're not experts. We learn everything that we did through watching YouTube videos and learning from other people. But we plotted the route all the way around, and that was probably the worst trip that we ever did. Because when you arrive to a nice village, there's an amazing cathedral or something, and you want to see that, yeah, but I can't. I've still got 80 miles, we've got to be at that hotel at 6 o'clock or whatever, you know? And so you miss out on these things as you go along. If you didn't have to be anywhere at any set time, which you don't have to these days if you don't plan your hotel, then you just go as you please, do what you want.
And a lot of things do go wrong when we travel, especially. And I think that's a good thing, because a few months later, what you're going to remember is that time, how hungry you were in Thailand, or how you
How
had...
ill you were in Thailand.
How you had food poisoning and you had to spend the night in the hospital corridor with the lizards. And also, when we do film, we're trying to show you as much as we can, but it's not always possible. One of the things that on that particular day in Thailand, I really wanted to film, and I wanted to film the misery that Rich was going through, because I knew you all would have loved it. So first I was just telling him to man up, and then obviously as it got worse, I had to phone an ambulance or something, and 2 of them turned up, and the whole time I was just stood there with the camera trying to film, but I just couldn't. It was just the wrong place, the wrong time. And then when I went to the hospital, I thought then I can vlog a little bit from the hospital, but they had other people waiting with me, so that was also a bit awkward. And seeing Rich being put in that place with the lizards and outside, it was just so hilarious, and I could not film it. But then yeah, I could have filmed myself, because a couple hours later I was hugging the bog, but I didn't record that.
This is just one of the stories that you remember from when you go away. And where you slept that night, or what you ate 3 months ago on a trip on a Thursday, are not the things that you'll remember. It's the trials and tribulations and things that you had to push through in order to get through the trip. And it's not always easy, and if it was easy, how many of us would do it? If you removed all the danger and excitement from motorcycling, how many of you would still go, realistically? Probably not very many. We're looking for that excitement, you're looking for the unknown, and that is what adventure is.
Well, I also think that the unknown and the danger for motorcyclists makes us so kind to each other. That's why we nod, we wave to each other when we're passing by. And the motorcycling community is probably one of the best, if not the best community that you can think of. And we always help each other. And that's what we like to do when we travel. If we see someone in distress, you just forget your plans or whatever you have, and you stop and you help them to repair the motorcycles as much as you can, or just do anything.
Do you know what? There's never been a better example of that, of the kindness of the motorcycle community than this. This is a perfect example of normal people, interested in other normal people doing, what we all love to do together. And for us, it's an odd thing for us to be up here on the stage. We should be down there with you. We're all just exactly the same.
Yeah, we came here on Thursday, and since Thursday we've been talking non-stop to all of you, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so surprised that you actually want to talk to us and you want to stop, and thank you for that. We're really nervous, by the way.
So when we found out we had to come up here, well, let's not have to, we had the opportunity to come up here and talk to you, obviously we're absolutely shitting it. That's the reality of it, and we're not even going to lie, we're not going to edit it or cover it up, that is what it is. So we start looking at all the things you should do, where we should be writing a script, and you look online, and you better rehearse 3 times a week, and you better learn what you're going to say, and do a presentation.
We have, but we decided not to do it.
Eva started doing that and writing all that, and we realised, just like the route planning that I was talking about earlier on doing Sicily, if you have all these things planned, you'll be stressed because you didn't hit that road, you didn't hit that marker, we didn't tell you about that point that we were supposed to do. So we completely scrapped it, and we thought we'd just turn up here and have a chat with you lot.
Well, a lot of you are...
Fake it till you make it is exactly what's happening here.
Well, a lot of you are asking us questions like, how do we do it? How do we pack? How do we go? And how can we afford it? One of the main reasons why we do camping, if you go back on our channel and see the very first video when we went camping, we bought Sendero 4 tent on, was it Market?
Facebook, yeah, we bought the cheapest stuff we could find, yeah.
Yeah, we got the cheapest bags, and we got 1 mattress, and we had the most horrid night ever. None of us slept, and it was just not what we wanted to be. But a few months later, we attempted it again to camp, and it was the best decision ever. And since when you got the good gear, you're gonna have a better time, and that allows us to spend as little as 14 euros a night when you camp into, different campsites at different prices, but it can be really cheap to travel and camp.
We very quickly realised that we were going to run out of money very fast doing what we were doing. The YouTube videos started to take off a little bit, and we were spending everything that we had literally doing what we were doing, and we knew that we just wouldn't be able to continue what we were doing. So when we had that night camping and we absolutely hated it, the next tour was we're just going to buy better gear, and then we went for 30 days, wasn't it? So we challenged ourselves to do a month moto camping, and we were going to do it every day, and basically we're going to do this until we either get good at it and like it, or we go broke and you tried and you did what you wanted to do anyway. Because the worst case scenario is you have these memories that you look back on, which you'll only ever regret the trip that you didn't do.
Well, the tent was so good that the tree fell on it in a storm and nothing happened, so it was a pretty good choice. We just got it smaller now, so that's
another example there of when something goes wrong and it could put you off, or you might stop, or it's one of those things that when you sit home and you're thinking about doing this and you think about the what ifs and the excuses as to why it is you can't do it. These things happen. It seems like a disaster at the time. In reality, it's one of the highlights of the trip, and you look back on it and you remember that one thing for years, and that is why we go.
I had a lot of people come up to me this weekend, especially ladies, and they said that they felt inspired by our videos and riding, and they went and did their own CVTs or 4-axis and started riding with their husbands, and they're absolutely loving it. And we are loving that response. I couldn't think that we're doing anything different to inspire anybody to do what we do, because most of the time it feels like a disaster actually, but it's pretty good. We just go out there, we just enjoy what we're doing.
It's, as Eva says, it's so good not only that other people are riding together, but something else we love to hear from you is in fact somebody said it to me just now down there. Me and my wife watch the channel together, and sometimes the wife's not interested in biking, but if it's something that brings you guys together for 20 minutes, half hour every evening, and you have a laugh and a chuckle together, then that's alright by us. It doesn't matter to us whether you get education out of it or entertainment, as long as you're enjoying spending some time together.
Some of you get offended, I know, but...
Yeah, I'm sure we've done that a lot, but what can you do? You can't keep everyone happy, can you?
No, absolutely not.
So Eva started out on the Tiger 800, which was an excellent bike, and I had the Tiger 900 at the time. Sadly, a chain snapped on mine and went through the engine case and put an end to that one. So I bought the Honda Africa Twin. And then Eva had a go on my Africa Twin. And then we all know how that ends up. I need an Africa Twin. More power.
Yeah, well, now we are on the Teneris, which you can see here. We haven't customized them yet. We definitely don't want to look like sisters. We do at the moment. They're identical. We've got identical luggage and everything on it. So we're going to put some decal and make it a little bit different. This is a smaller bike than my previous, but I'm absolutely loving it. However, the trips that we did in the past year or so, especially in Thailand, when we were riding scooters, made us realize how having a lighter bike removes so much of your worries. I don't know, but especially for me as a lady, I think I'm a little bit different. Well, Rich is obviously a better rider than me, but even parking it, or you don't have to think so much. So smaller bike is obviously just easier to ride, I think. And this one's absolutely easy.
Just because you're a female, I think that makes no difference at all. For me, equally, this is like having a bicycle compared to the Africa Twin. Especially, it's so nimble and flickable, and it's just better for us in every way. But I know a lot of you will be thinking that the right bike for you to get would have been the CRF 300L or something similar. And you're right, based on the last tour that we did, that would be the perfect bike when you're there to do the off-roading. And if you're going to do just off-roading, that's what I would tell you to get, not this. But we need to do big miles in order to get where we're going, so we have to make that balance between having something that's big and comfortable for us to do the 500 miles days when you need to on the motorway, which always suck no matter what bike you're on. But we also want something where we can have a go at doing the off-road and the more fun stuff, and that's where this in the middle is hopefully gonna see us well. But we're only one tour into that, and we did throw them straight into the deep end. Anybody who hasn't seen, we just took these 2 adventure bikes to the ACT, which is the Adventure Country Tracks. These guys have got a stand here somewhere, we haven't found it yet. But if you want to get into off-roading, then that is a fantastic place to start. You can go on the website, you can sign up as a membership for, I think, from about £5 to £20, and you get all the GPX files. And I literally took the GPX files off the website, put it on my phone there, we took these from the dealership, put a few crash bars and bits on, and we went for it.
Standard tyres as well.
Standard tyres, yeah. We didn't even take any air out the tyres, which we were told many times after we've had it, which would have made a lot of sense.
We didn't take the pressure out because Rich thought he forgot his, what was that, electric pan.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
And then when we got back home, he was unpacking the bag, so I was like, oh, here it is.
It was in my side panel the whole time, yeah. We were proper worried about whether I would get a puncture, these being tubes. I carried the tubes and everything after what happened to us in Italy with the Africa twins. And yeah.
We definitely look like we are ready for an adventure, but I don't think we are. We've got all the kit and all the tools, but we have never successfully changed a tube. You've tried once.
No, I have tried at home, yeah. So I had a puncture in Italy, and yeah, that was the first time we had a problem with a tubed bike. So I learnt the lesson the hard way and went away and bought all the tools and, you know, bought some tubes and bits and pieces, and we've carried that ever since, and they've been thousands of miles with us, and luckily I haven't had to take them out yet. But yeah, that's a job that I dread, and probably a lot of you guys who have tube tyres dread as well. It's nice to see a lot now of the mid-size adventure bikes that are coming that are tubeless, because, you know, most of us don't want to be dealing with that, but if you're forced to, you have to. So yeah, we've got all the gear, we've got no idea how to deal with that yet, but we'll worry about that when we get there. The same as every other problem that we have along the road. It's always alright in the end. I always say that when we're travelling, as long as you have 2 things with you, there's not a single problem that you can't solve. As long as you have your mobile phone and you have a credit card with you, or means to get home financially, you will be fine. If you've got those 2 things, you can take on any adventure you want. There's nothing you can't fix with your phone. You can always find accommodation, you can always find help, you can find whatever you need with the phone. And if you've got a credit card, worst case scenario, you get a taxi, you get to the airport and you get yourself home, and you worry about any other problem later.
Definitely some of the tips we can give you, what we do when we travel, and that's not always obvious when we're traveling. We haven't been traveling anywhere super remote, but then when you're on off-roading somewhere on the mountain, then maybe that is remote enough. I share my location with my family, so if something was to go wrong, at least they know where to begin looking for me. And obviously Rich would be with me, so that'll be okay. Another thing we do, we carry a spare mobile phone just in case it was to fall off the quad lock, or we were just gonna forget it in the cafe, or
we actually met a girl at a hotel in Thailand, and we were out faffing with our bikes, and she's crying. And
she's from Germany, wasn't she?
Yeah, so you know what's going on. Well, she's just arrived here and arrived at the hotel, and there are washing machines at the hotel. Fantastic. She put her clothes in. She just washed her phone. And as I was saying just now, you need the 2 things. You need your phone, you need your credit card. And so obviously to make that mistake is really bad news when you're in a country that you don't know. You can't even call a cab to take you to a phone shop to buy another one. So for that reason, we do carry a spare phone. So between us, we have 3.
Yeah, we do. I don't think we have to carry a spare one because there's always 2. But if I was to lose my phone, I really don't want to spend the rest of the holidays not scrolling on TikTok. So definitely need a spare phone. Yeah.
Well, we have met so many nice people here, and you know, as he was saying earlier, we're blown away by every time that somebody comes up to us, and you want our photo. I mean, how crazy is that, you know? And you tell us your stories and where you've been, which is why we started a Facebook group, which I can never say in the first go, On the Road Adventure Riders Group. And you know, we encourage everybody to join there, because we're just as interested in what you're doing as you are us, because when we're looking for where we're going to go next, or locations to save on our maps, for example, we're looking at where you've gone and where you've had a good time and a good adventure, and then we'll save that and go off and do the same things. It's very hard now in this world to be the first to do anything. So, you know, if you can take tips from other people that have already been and are interested in the same things, then, you know, you can learn from each other.
I mean, we all have watched people who are legends today go into some jungles and places that we probably never get to, or most of us definitely will not, or are not interested to. But what we think is that you don't really have to go anywhere crazy to have a great time. UK is one of the best places to travel. I love the people, I love the food, I love the cheese, so do you. And
no language problems, you can understand each other. It's
absolutely great, and there's no smelly, strange food, so it's always safe. But even Europe, it's not that far, and it's still far enough to have a really good time. So that's what we plan to do for at least the near future.
It's not even the longer trips, most of us can't go away as often that me and Eva are lucky enough to be able to do now. But some of our best days are when you just go out. You might go to a town that's 20 miles down the road and visit a restaurant or a pub or something that you've never been to. That's still an adventure. How many of us ride our bikes and then you look down the lane and you go, I wonder where that goes. I've passed that 100 times, Take the lane. If you don't know where it goes, take it, go and find out. You'll have your adventure.
That's one of the reasons why we changed the tenor race and the soft luggage. So we have that more flexibility to do it all. But also soft luggage means everything that you have on your bike, it's now more vulnerable if you were to leave your bike in a car park somewhere and just go and explore the town. So usually when we travel, I go shopping or wherever we stop in, and one of us is with the bikes, and we always put the locks. We always try to take care of them as much as possible, and it's not really the money factor, because if your bike is stolen, you will get your money back eventually, but that means your trip will be finished. And especially lately, we have so many news coming to us that our friends and different people had their bikes stolen. So we definitely don't want that happening to us, not on the trip.
I wasn't a fan of motorcycle trackers for quite a long while. I thought they were a bit of a waste of time, to be honest with you. And then we started looking into it and talking with you guys, and maybe my opinion started to change. I don't know how many of you saw Itchy Boots had a motorcycle stolen in Wales again, and the reason that she managed to find it was because she had air tags on it. And it may be, I understand that there was a van out the back and they pushed it there but gave up for some reason. And I think that probably the air tags had pinged on somebody's phone and told them that it was there. We know this because Eva uses the Apple AirPods, and if they're within the vicinity, my phone will pick it up to warn me that something's there being tracked, that it's being picked up. So, I do think that there's something to be had for these trackers. Another friend recently was in Reims in France, and they locked their bikes up outside of the hotel, left it outside the window there, and the phone started going off during the night, and his tracker was telling that there was a problem. When they come outside, the guys had actually cut through the fence on the outside of the hotel and were removing the 4 bikes out and up the hill. And if they hadn't got that notification, they wouldn't have got their bikes back.
Yes, that's always important to make sure you are as safe as possible. A lot of you have been asking us where next. We kind of set on an idea, and I hope there will be a lot of food that Rich will hate. I really hope that, and some of the smelliest ones I can try. And we, at the moment, we are getting ready for the next trip, so we're in the process of upgrading anything that needs upgrading and researching the things that we need, and to be as minimalistic as possible to pack in what you can see on this bike, and just go on for another trip, and that we're planning to be away for quite a few months.
So our last trip, we took these bikes, and we had only just got them. We had ordered these some time ago, and they took forever to turn up, and what can you do? That's just the way it goes sometimes. So we lost a lot of time waiting on the new bikes. I put my Africa Twin up for sale, and it went within a few days, and left me without a bike. Luckily, MotoGB have been fantastic to us, and they gave us some press bikes, which has allowed us to make more videos to keep these things coming. So again, the motorcycle community coming together and working as a team, and we could still get the job done. But yeah, so we took these 2 Teneres, and we only had it for about 2 or 3 weeks. So we took that and did the ACT, did France and Spain with it. And the idea there is that we wanted to test out all our gear and find out any problems that we might have. And it does seem that we've found 2 problems with the bikes at the moment. One being the clutch. So everybody's asked about the clutch, and the clutch on these bikes, they are a bit, the friction zone is a little bit small, so it's a bit snatchy. There's always been this thing with Yamaha clutches, and there's been the Camel ADV arm, which everybody does. It's a simple mod, and hopefully that will fix it, but we can't apply that one to these new bikes due to new clutch casings being thinner. So I'm sure somebody's going to sort that out. If not, we get used to it, and you know, if the perfect bike existed, every one of us here would be riding the same bike. Every one of the machines that we have available, in my opinion, have, you know, something wrong, pros and cons. The second problem we found is more concerning for us right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the seat. It's absolutely like sitting on the bench. It's horrible. Never had a seat like that. Apart from that, I love the bike, and I love riding it off-road or on-road, and quite scary enough, off-road, it makes you feel like you can ride off-road, which could be dangerous, but we absolutely enjoy it, especially on the ACT.
So the solution for the seat is we were going to have them have the covers taken off and put gel inserts in. That was our plan. And so many of you guys told us in the comments that that would heat up in the sunshine, especially in hot countries, and we would then have a frying pan to sit on. So we've decided against that. So yeah, we need to
try the cool covers.
Yeah, cool covers are here. So we don't know if their covers will fit the 25, but we're sure that they might be able to do something with it and put something together for us. So I think we'll probably try that next as a solution. There is always a solution to every problem. You know, you can find an excuse as to why you can't go, the bike's too uncomfortable or whatever, but you'll always find the solution.
How does you say that travelling is constant?
It's never-ending problems, but it's problem solving. Constantly, there is always something, and we have to figure things out as we go along the way.
Weirdly enough, when we travel, and the biggest problems, when we travel, the kind of stress it creates is completely different to the kind of stress you get at home, you know, in your normal everyday life. And it's something about the travelling on the motorcycles that just completely sucked us in, and we cannot stop. And when we're tired, when we're travelling, we wish we were home for a day or two, just to rest and have a coffee and just do nothing for a day. But then as soon as we arrive at home, we're thinking, where can we go next, and what can we do to just go again?
Motorcycling is the only thing within my life anyway, and I know with you, it just never gets old. It doesn't matter where you go. As you say, you can have the hardest day ever and get smashed by hailstones and have a tree fall on your tent, and you know, all these things can happen. And then you get up in the morning and you see your bike outside. Fantastic, let's go for a ride, you know, it solves everything. How many of you have a really bad mood or something, you know, you fall out with the missus or whatever, or you know, the car's broken again or whatever, and you get on the bike and you go down the road, and by the time you get to the end of the road, none of that matters anymore, and you realise actually just how unimportant those things you were stressing about actually are.
Yeah, I really hate packing the camp whenever we camp in. You wouldn't see that on the video because we usually don't film the whole process, but I really hate it, and I dread the whole thing, especially when it's hot and you have to get dressed. But the moment I'm on the bike and I'm moving forward, it's like all gone. It's fine. I'm not moody anymore. I was just missing my bike. It's fine.
Yeah. The more we sort of rinse and repeat what we're doing, you know, we keep making changes. So now, for example, we've changed over to this new Lone Rider luggage, which has been fantastic. Lone Rider have been great and have supported us with the luggage. And it's a great step forward for us, actually. As Eva mentioned earlier, we started off with hard luggage, and Eva bought some new hard luggage for a tour in Spain. And a couple of days later, a white van man came along and knocked the bike over and broke the luggage. One drop and it was broken. So we decided that we would have soft luggage, which now is obviously much harder, but it will also protect the bike when it goes down. And yeah, but that now presents new problems that we have, because before we had a big square space to pack everything in, and now we have to find things that fit within the shapes of the bags inside.
Yeah, and obviously you want to carry as much as you can, and if we're planning to do any off-roading or any remote roads, you want to have water with you, which we constantly keep failing on. It's like, how many times can you make the same stupid mistake? We just keep doing the same stuff, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, simple, basic things like that, like carrying water with you, are mistakes I'm probably, we all make. We seem to make the same mistake of missing cafe times and things when we're travelling, and everything always seems to be shut and stuff, but that's just what it is, that's just what travel is. And you have to accept those hardships with the fact that you are lucky enough to be outside travelling this amazing world. I said in one of our recent videos, we were looking at some amazing view over the mountains in the Pyrenees. Despite all of the technology that we've got now, with AI and phones and screens and all the things we can do, you can't replicate that. You can't. And as much as you can watch our videos and things, you won't get that same feeling, those same thoughts when you're stood there looking at the mountains yourself. And that's why we just want to encourage every one of you, as soon as it's possible, for any opportunity, get out on your bike, go and see stuff. You'll never regret a trip that you went on and actually did. You'll only ever regret the days that you stayed home.
Yeah, just book your tickets. And some of you were telling us that you want to go to the Alps or you want to go somewhere else, but you're a little bit on the edge. And honestly, if I never booked any tickets or the Channel Tunnel or none of that, I'll probably chicken out most of the times. I don't know, most people don't see that on the video, but I'm very, very stressed every time I get on the bike. And I feel that anxiety and the stress, and it just sits here and I can feel it physically, mentally, and it's always there. I don't know what it is. Rich seems to think that's something that keeps me safe and alive and on the bike, so I don't try doing anything stupid. I'm not driving slow, I'm not riding slow or anything like that, but I think that fear is something that we're all looking for in the way. Maybe that's the adrenaline, maybe it's the bike, but also the awareness of how many things can go wrong, and just the respect for the machine you're riding.
Yeah, and when it comes to the safety on a trip, something that we've now started wearing,
We've reached that age.
Yeah, it's maybe seen to be seriously uncool right now, but we are wearing the Helite Air Vest. And in one of my videos, I explained the reason why and the situation that I was in, and I've seen the benefit that may have made. But we've had so many questions on that, and a lot of people are not willing to wear them because it's too hot, or it's too heavy, or it's an inconvenience. And we thought that would be the case, didn't we, when we took them on?
I didn't like the first day I was wearing it, I need to admit. But I think once it all sort of soften up a little bit, maybe you get used to it after the day's ride, and then it was okay.
Make some adjustments on the straps and things like that. But the reality is that now that we do wear these things, I wouldn't nip to town or something on my bike without it, because that will be the day that somebody pulls out in front of you and it happens. And imagine how stupid I would feel knowing that that's at home hung up, and that could have saved me from potential.
I think it's absolutely great that at the moment on the motorcycle market you've got so many different things that you can purchase to make your ride safer. It's not only Helite, there's a lot of different brands as well that are offering similar or better things, depends on your preference. And it's just making that a little bit safer. We also met some people here that said, I came off, broke my collarbone, and I was out on it from riding for months. So we're just trying to do maybe.
We often see people riding along, we all may have done it from time to time, shorts, t-shirt, no gloves, it's really hot. It really bloody hurts when you're at the ground, right? Why do it to yourself? It doesn't make any sense to me, I can't say that I've ever seen anybody go by and thought, he looks like a cool dude, For me, I think we have, as Eva said, we've got all of these things here that will help make us not only more comfortable, but more protected doing what we're doing. And if that means that you can do what it is that you love for longer, because you made a few smart decisions and spent a couple of quid, then it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Well, we decided before we did the talk that we're gonna ask a couple of questions, because I know someone will have a question.
We didn't want to stand here and do a presentation and just talk to you guys. We want to come here and have a chat with you. So yeah, if you've got any questions or want to interact with us, then yeah, now's the time.
There's a question. Can we go a bit higher on this one? There's a question here right in front of me. I can tell somewhere here. I can feel it. There's the man there.
Hello guys, how you doing?
Hello, bud.
What do you guys do for day jobs in the real world? Or is this becoming...
Oh, yeah.
We get asked that a lot.
And how flexible are they? Obviously, you take probably more leave than the statutory.
I've been self-employed for a little while, and right. Yeah, so self-employed. My last recent sort of one-man band business was detailing motorcycles and applying ceramic coatings. So which is why I love to have my bikes clean, you know, and it's absolutely.
And I don't have to worry about cleaning my own bike.
Even though if she just leaves it in the garage, then I will deal with it. I can't put it away dirty. You know, if we look after these things, they're going to look after you. You know, if you keep it clean, you're going to find things that, you know, are going wrong. Whenever I clean the rear wheel, for example, I'm tapping the spokes as it goes round. You're listening for that, and if you can hear one that's different, you've spotted a problem before it's occurred. You know, if you're cleaning the chain and it's properly clean and lubed all the time, you will see it's wearing out or it needs adjustment. You'll prevent that problem that you're going to have on your trip next time. Yeah. So the bikes and the YouTube thing about so we would come back from a trip and we would go to work, and because we're both self-employed, we can take on the work as and when. So we would book in and smash out as much work as we can, and there would be times for 2 weeks we wouldn't see each other.
Yeah, so my work, I would sometimes, depends on the kid, but sometimes it's a few days, 24 hours, so basically non-stop. So as if you were a parent, let's say you just go there where the kid lives and you just stay there for a few days, or however you can.
It's all about choices, and we decided to, you know, put the hours in and get our money together and then go out and we just spend all of our money on travel and doing what it is that we love to do.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, worry about it later, you know. And yet we don't have any children, we don't smoke, and neither one of us drinks alcohol. So all of our money goes on this, and you know, and just doing what we love.
You did take a lot of drugs though, a lot of drugs.
Loads of drugs.
Well, we've been to Thailand.
I love Richie when you were saying there, like, you know, sometimes we work for, I don't know, nearly 2 weeks. Whoa, go on.
I do mean that once.
I know. Okay, we've got another question over here, coming over your way now.
Thank you, guys. You touched on a subject that is quite important to me. I'm a doctor and I see a lot of burnout, mental health issues, especially in people in late middle age. You touched on your own anxieties there, Eva, and I think it's more of a comment to say thank you very much for those close-up shots that you do when, for example, on your last trip you went through that bit that was bulldozed and we could see the abject fear in your face and the fact that you overcame that and ploughed on through. I just wonder if you could just comment on what actually goes through your mind after that event, because it's really inspiring for us to see that.
I don't want to sound, you know, too woke or whatever, but I do meditate, and so it's more of just bringing myself back, because as you know, if you're stressed and you're in a situation you've never been before, you could just be so stressed that you could actually faint. Sometimes it feels like that. But then I just remember to breathe, bring myself back to where I am, and then remember that I've passed the test, I've done thousands of miles, I can do this. So it's usually that way, and that's exactly what I always say to women that I meet, and they say to me, oh my God, I don't know how you do it. And then I usually ask, do you have children? Do you have a job? So you can have kids, you can have a job, and you make sure everyone in your house is fed and all the clothes are washed, and you're doing all these superhuman things, and you think you cannot ride a motorcycle? Yes, you can. So we are all capable of doing it, and I think we all feel a level of anxiety, just not everyone admits it. I don't want to, you know, talk about it every day I ride, but it's the reality. We all feel it sometimes, when especially somewhere unfamiliar, don't we?
It's important to remember that probably 90% of the things that we all worry about, every reason you can find that you don't want to go for a trip or anything else, never actually happen. They never occur. All these things are in your head, you know, and it's so easy to convince yourself that you can't do things, and actually the best thing to do is just go and do it, and then when something does go wrong, deal with it. It'll be alright. So far, we've never come across a problem that we couldn't solve, have we?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Sometimes things go wrong and not to plan, but it's
plan changes a lot. Yeah.
A lot of you are asking us where we are and about the maps and the routes. And I think we would love to start doing that, be a bit more detailed where we are so you can visually see. The only problem is that we just don't know where we are most of the time.
I'm sure a lot of people don't actually believe that, but yeah, very often we simply have dots marked out. So somebody will say to us, did you see that amazing waterfall? It's in this town. We'll go to Google Maps, we'll find it, and then you click save and save that on your to-do maps, and before you know it, you end up with thousands of waypoints, and we just go between waypoint to waypoint. So I don't know what road we're on, we don't know what town we're in, we don't know where we're staying tonight, we've no idea. We just get the phone out, we'll literally search campsites near me, you know, at 5 p.m, and then we pick one. And it's a lottery, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and we've learnt not to listen to reviews.
Yeah, I think people are most likely to leave a bad review when they're upset and not the positive one, and usually the ones with the bad reviews turn out to actually be quite good.
Can we get a question from down this end? I've come all the way down here. Come all the way down here. It took me ages to get down here. Want a question here? Where? Here, this man here. Hold on a minute.
How you doing? Alright? Yeah, I spoke to you when you were somewhere new. France. Do you still think it's the biggest country of fuck all?
Is there any French in?
I have absolutely no problem admitting when I am wrong, and if I don't do that, Eva will tell me, I'm sure. But yeah, so we so often, being from the UK, saw France as a place that we had to go through to get somewhere so that we could go to the Alps, probably like a lot of us do. And well, once we did the Home to Rome tour, and we drove from home to Rome in 3 days because I didn't want to get the bus to the airport, so we were riding our bikes in a proper manner. We did all the toll roads, and it absolutely sucked, and we never ever did it again. Other times we've been through France, and we did, you know, the similar sorts of thing. We were going through France because we were going to Switzerland or we're going somewhere else. And on this trip, we actually took some time, didn't we, with some advice from a friend to take the D roads, take the slow roads, and we saw some amazing places.
We were definitely going to be back in France, and we were actually gutted that we couldn't stay any longer in France because we had a plan to come back to ABR. But absolutely amazing. Did you know that France has volcanoes? I didn't know that. Honestly, there's so many things in France, and the people were so nice. Obviously, once you're outside of Paris, then it's great. It's absolutely great, and everyone was so lovely. We were just sat in the car park one day because we're trying to save money, so we bought a meal deal type thing in a supermarket, and then we took the Oxford chairs and just sat in the car park eating, and everyone that was passing us by was like, bon appetit, bon appetit. And we just thought, are they taking a piss?
Turns out that they actually are genuinely nice to people coming through, you know, and that they actually cared when we were having a good time.
I don't know who hates who more, French to English or English to French, but somehow you just always think that they're not kind and they're not nice, but they are. They're really good people.
So yes, we had a fantastic time in France, and hopefully we will return and we will do our usual plan of go very slow, and you'll see so much more.
Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Billy Wood. Vive la France! I think we covered that. That was a good answer in a difficult, stressful situation, I recommend.
We love it.
So, we've got time for one more question, okay? I'll just go, this man here, he was there like a shot.
Hi Rich, Eva. It's not really a question, but Eva, earlier you said that Rich was a better rider than you. That's total bullshit. Okay, fair enough, you fell off in the campsite, but we've all done that. But who fell off on the actual ACT?
I have a habit of going first and finding and assessing the hazards.
I have no problem going first, and that way, if I go first, I'm not eating the dust.
There's a reason why we do what we do. So when we started, we found, you know, regular problems, and one of which is I am from Devon, and this means that if I go any further than Bristol, very few people understand what I am saying, especially when we're in Europe, and we found that people understand Eva's Polish far better than me.
Because my English is more broken, right? So if I'm speaking to someone who, let's say, doesn't speak really good English, I'm gonna understand them and they're gonna understand me, and I don't know, it's more natural, and you just talk very fast.
So Eva does communication, but when it comes to directions, that is not Eva's strong point. So that is why I'm always up front. So I do directions, Eva does communications. Whenever we're travelling, we've sort of split up roles between us, and we look after each other, and I can honestly say that I definitely couldn't do this without Eva by my side.
Can't find anything.
No, absolutely. The teamwork really does, in this case, make the dream work. Alongside the travelling and all the things that we do, there's also the recording, you know, the editing, and you know, all the other things that we do to make the YouTube videos happen. And again, Eva has jobs that I don't understand, and vice versa, and that's how we make it happen, because we couldn't be masters of all of it.
Guys, that's a lovely way to end, but before we do the big round of applause that these guys so justly deserve, how can people who don't know you in here, don't follow you in here, where do they go to follow you guys and find out more about some of the revelations that you've actually just done on stage?
Well, so we are on YouTube, and that's at On The Road Adventure. If you type into the search bar, that's where our channel will come up. We're also on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, On The Road Adventure.
Great stuff.
And just before we end, I talked about how amazing the motorcycling community is and how good we are all to each other. And there's a lady down here who's actually come up to me just now and said she had made us something. I just wanted to show our appreciation, not only to this lady, but to every one of you. Because if it's not for you who were watching the videos and enjoying it, we simply wouldn't be here.
On the road adventures. That's very, very lovely. That's so sweet. Hey, there's a lot of love in the audience there for you guys.
There's a lot of love here to come back to you.
And just remember, you can go on that trip and go and do it. That's our motto. You can do it.
Great, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for them. Please give a big thank you.
Love you, bye.